Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be a video about strong side carry versus appendix carry. And before we get this video started, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to this video's sponsor, which is the Armories. The Armories are a few gun shops located down in the Florida area. My first experience with them was buying my awesome Springfield TRP. Just a completely standard customer, nothing to do with the channel, and I had such a good experience that I decided to reach out and see if we could work together on these videos. So they have some really cool storefronts. I wish I was a little bit closer to the Florida area to check them out, but they also, of course, do have a website. I can't post links to things like that here on YouTube, but you can check out the armories.youknowwhat, and you will be able to see a huge selection, and their prices are pretty solid. They also allow you to trade in towards something else, all virtually online. So you could send them some emails, photos of the guns themselves that you're trying to sell, and it is a really cool setup. One of the number one things the Armory strives for is customer service, and I experienced that firsthand with them. Check them out, let them know that you came there from this video, and thank them for supporting my content. Well, let's go ahead and ruffle some feathers, my friends. This is gonna be probably another wild ride. Maybe not, I don't know, we'll see. We are going to discuss the differences between appendix carry in my own experience and strong side carry. I have been carrying a firearm now for about 10 years, and for almost the entirety of that time, I was appendix carry all the way. There was no other option that I saw that was viable other than appendix carry. And I saw that kind of mirrored in the industry all over the place, especially at that time when I started looking into concealed carry. This was kind of, I don't want to say the new thing. Of course, it was not the new thing, but the sidecar style of holster was really the new hotness at the time. And for many years, appendix carry served me well. And there are probably going to be a few times, probably a lot of times in the future, that I do appendix carry again. When I am looking at appendix carry, the benefits still exist. If you are looking to carry a full-size gun like this VP9, what we're talking about today with concealed carry is full-size pistols. With appendix, you have the really nice ability of being able to hide on your person and conceal a very large firearm. This is a full-size VP9. I had an X300 weapon light, and then I also had a spare 20-round magazine on the opposite side, and many times, in many situations, conditions, someone would have absolutely no idea, as it should be, that I had a gun on me, let alone a gun on me with almost 40 rounds of total capacity right in that 12 o'clock position. So you have that major benefit of appendix carry. Over the years, when I'm just carrying with a t-shirt over the front of it, I noticed that as I walked forward, wherever I was outside, even if it was a light wind or a small, just from walking, your shirt tends to kind of like press up against your gun, and you just happen to see it a lot of the time. And when you're out and about, you're going to notice that more. At a perfect flat range, maybe not, and it all depends on the type of clothing that you wear, but especially a lot of the like tri-blend shirt material that is designed to be a little bit more fitting, that stuff, I mean, it just sucks to the gun. So those are certain situations where maybe appendix carry, that I've realized over the years, is not quite as concealable in those areas because the wind is usually hitting you right in the front. Of course, the situation can still be the exact same with strong side carry. The other main benefit that I see to appendix carry is sitting down or driving. A lot of people ask me, well, man, how do you sit down in that? Sitting down in the car for me is far more comfortable with an appendix carry holster than a strong side holster. That just, it is what it is. Wherever you are sitting throughout your day-to-day life, this is not going to be pressed up against your back in a very uncomfortable way, whereas this typically will, especially if you're carrying in that 4:30, 5 o'clock position that most strong side holsters are going to be stitched out for. When you're looking at appendix carry, sitting and driving around, it is by far a more comfortable holster. Some people may never experience this. For me, I have lower back muscular issues that I have been working through, a lot of yoga, all that good stuff. It has gotten worlds better. But the one thing that I noticed as I consistently started to have more and more issues, I would go to put on my holster as I do every single day, and I work retail as a general manager at a gun shop. I am standing all day long and I am walking around. I'm always on my feet. As time went on, and if you're standing with appendix carry all day long, your hips start to kind of shift forward. And the gun, everyone that carries appendix, I see it with everybody, it starts to kind of droop outward, right? So throughout your day, it just kind of starts going like that. We're talking hour after hour, right? And what starts happening is your hips get in this really bad position. And I was noticing that actually, even if I was wearing a leather belt, it was better with the leather belt, but it was killing me, man. It was making my muscular issues a lot worse, and it was making it very difficult for me to hit my posture that I should be throughout the day. I think this is kind of like an unspoken thing about appendix carry. I've heard it mentioned in like one video, and it really struck when I heard it mentioned that, man, it is true. It's not really that great for that situation, and I'm feeling it pretty hard. A softer belt that's still a rigid-ish gun belt is going to help with this issue because it's going to allow for a little bit of movement. When I first started into the concealed carry world 10 years ago, it was rigid, needs to be rigid, can't move, and that's exactly what I spoke here on the channel many, many times. And in actual real-world use for years and years and thousands of hours really carried in this position, I noticed that the really rigid hardcore belt just made that even worse because the belt acted as like a hinge point. Now, fast forward into my thoughts on strong side carry. When I first started carrying way back in the day, the very first time I ever carried, it was with a Galco King Tuck holster and a Glock 26. I thought strong side, and that's what it was, that's what I was gonna do. And it was super comfortable. I never really had issues with comfort and strong side carry. But what I started noticing is your shirt and clothing lifting up as you bend over. So when you are standing somewhere, you go into the grocery store, you reach up to grab a product, if something falls, you reach down, you pick that up, whatever. The amount of times that my shirt would come up over the grip of the pistol and my pistol's just kind of hanging out were a lot. And in some situations, some areas, that doesn't really matter a whole ton of a lot. But there's a lot of other areas where that's a big, big problem. That's still there. That problem still exists with strong side carry. Can it happen with appendix? Yes, but where your shirt falls, similar to the negative with appendix when you're standing outside, where your shirt falls when you're bending over or picking something up, usually it is going to keep that appendix holster still very concealed and in your control. I have noticed that it is very gun dependent with strong side carry. For me, in my experience, if you're gonna strong side carry, a 1911 type firearm has been the absolute most successful strong side carry pistol I have ever had. And it's just the way that it conforms to the body. I don't have anywhere near as many weird shirt pulling up issues, surprisingly, with the 1911 that I do with a standard double stacked pistol in that position. Whether it's a hammer fired pistol or a striker fired pistol, polymer frame, steel frame, whatever, a double stack pistol in the strong side position just tends to print for me a lot more than a single stack pistol does. The more that I carried the 1911 in the strong side position, I started to really begin to mesh with it quite a bit. I noticed that the comfort level with my lower back pain began to really go away a lot more. I started to have less weird twinges throughout the day. And I noticed that if you're standing there all day. This is so much more of a natural position to have a weight in, whether it's a gun or anything else. If you have a weighted area that's on your right-hand side or your left-hand side, it is typically going to be a lot better for you posture-wise, in my experience, than having a very large weight up in the front of you. Now, I do carry a magazine, of course, a spare magazine on my belt on the other side that I have no issues with either, and that helps kind of balance the weight out a little bit. It is most definitely slightly slower to draw from the strong side position than the appendix position. There's nothing you're gonna do to make that different. This is faster to draw from, this is not. It's also faster to pull clothing up in the appendix position than it is the strong side position. You'll get a lot of catching in the strong side position, but it's still 100% doable. Neither one of these is right or wrong. It all comes down to your personal preference. And for so many years, I strayed away from this because I would just reiterate everything that I heard. Hey, I can't take the hit in capacity. I can't carry strong side because it is X, Y, or Z sub-second slower than the appendix carry position. All of that, a lot of it's true. I get it. But at the end of the day, more training that I do on this platform, the more that I understand that yes, it has limitations, but in a standard training and self-defense situation, I don't feel at a disadvantage with a pistol like this. And I don't feel disadvantaged for it being strong side carry. I can still draw very quickly. I can still get rounds on target quickly. And I feel very confident and accurate with this pistol. And I just kind of want to put that out there as if you're having issues with appendix carry at times, it's okay. You can say, hey, this might not be the best for me, and this might be better. Or you can say, hey man, this isn't the best for me, and this might be better. We have the ability to do that in this industry. I know, mind-blowing. That's just it is what it is. This is a leather rig. I also want to talk about the fact that for strong side carry, Kydex, not the move for me. It did not work in any type of situation. Kydex in strong side, not what I prefer. And that is another reason why I carry a 1911. When it comes to leather holsters, these suckers were designed from the ground up for strong side carry. Oh my God, it is a very comfortable setup, and similar to appendix carry, it allows you to carry a very large full-size gun like this 1911 in standard everyday situations and standard clothing. It is designed to conform, as you can see what it's doing right now, to your body and make it easy to conceal a large pistol. However, I am not a huge fan in any way, shape, or form of using leather holsters on striker-fired guns. We've just seen it time and time again that stuff can fold over as it wears over time, and it can cause some issues. Now, a really good leather holster like this Falco holster is, it's going to have a much harder time trying to bend, but over time, it's still possible. If I am carrying a hammer-fired gun, I am a lot more apt to not have an issue carrying it in leather. And that's another reason why I carry the 1911 strong side. I hope this answered some questions about strong side versus appendix carry and just kind of shed some light on a much more realistic view of the topic. If you guys have any other questions, of course, feel free to throw them down in the comments section below. I absolutely will get back to you. While you're down there, head up to the description for the ways to support the channel, and stay tuned for more great content coming soon.